In this world, you can be forgotten simply because a message failed to touch someone's heart. Everything moves so quickly that we don't even realize it. Sometimes just one cold, detached line is enough to end a chance, extinguish a flicker of hope, or quietly close a door that had just begun to open. We are living in an era where a single swipe, a fleeting glance can decide who gets to step into our lives and who gets left behind. A message, small as it seems, carries a hidden weight that few truly recognize. Like a fragile thread stretched thin, if it lacks enough tension, it will snap mid-air without a second glance from anyone. Many men think women are ignoring them, but the truth is, women don't ignore messages. They ignore weak emotions, faint vibrations that fail to stir their minds. She's not rejecting you out of coldness. She simply cannot respond to a feeling she herself doesn't even sense. A frail emotion, like a late afternoon breeze brushing past the shoulders, vanishes before you even realize it ever touched you. A message that lacks vivid, living energy will be swept away like a scrap of paper in a city breeze. Gone so fast, no one even remembers it existed. Amidst the thousands of messages flashing by every single day, only what truly strikes the heart can linger for more than a heartbeat. If your message doesn't carry the right resonance, something her heart can instinctively catch, she will forget it even before her phone screen fades out a second time. Not because she's indifferent, but because human nature only holds on to what stirs the soul, even if just for the briefest moment. So then, what kind of energy is truly irresistible? How can you, with just a single line, send a ripple that echoes in her heart? Let's step onto the path to find that answer. Before we dive into how to send messages she will never forget, there's one thing you must understand clearly. The real power does not lie in how many messages you send or the techniques you apply. It lies in how you transmit emotion, something invisible yet capable of leaving a deep imprint on someone's mind. Imagine it like this. Every message you send to her is no different from an arrow. If that arrow is nothing but a dry piece of wood, no matter how precisely you aim, it will still fall to the ground, hollow and forgotten. But if the arrow is lit with fire, even the briefest brush against it can light up an entire dark night. Messages are just the same. Words are only the medium, but emotion is the fuel. No matter how eloquent a message is, no matter how beautifully crafted the words are, if it lacks genuine emotion, it remains nothing more than soulless characters drifting across a screen. Whether you touch her heart or not depends entirely on the emotional charge you carry within your words. Many men relentlessly search for golden phrases, for texting secrets somewhere on the internet, thinking that if they say the right thing, they will win a woman's heart. But they forget the most crucial point. Women are not drawn to technique. They are touched by genuine emotions that cannot be faked. You can text her, "What are you doing?" with the intention of staying connected. But if that question carries no real vibration, it's just another dull knock lost in an overwhelmingly noisy day. She will glance past that message the way she would glance past hundreds of unfamiliar faces on the street. On the other hand, a seemingly simple message that stirs a warm moment, a sudden spark of joy, will linger in her mind longer than you expect, because it's not just a string of words, it's an emotional experience, a small beam of light piercing through an otherwise ordinary day. In a world flooded with noise and fleeting connections, sincere emotion feels like a fresh breath in a stifling room. A woman will not sit down to analyze why she remembers you. She will simply know that whenever she thinks of you, something stirs quietly in her heart, something too subtle to name. The beauty is, emotion does not need grand displays. A small question, a playful tease, or even a meaningful pause can be enough to plant the seed of a deep connection. Sometimes a message shorter than a line can carry more weight than a page-long speech. You don't need to become a poet. You only need to be fully present in every word, every period, as your true self. No forcing yourself to be interesting. No trying to entertain. Just bringing a warm soul and a heart that isn't afraid of being vulnerable. Remember this, a soulless message is just a dry piece of wood, but a message that carries real emotion, however short, however imperfect, will spark a fire she won't easily forget. Now let's go deeper into the 3 kinds of fire arrows. 3 ways of sending messages that not only get a reply, but also leave a mark through the most honest emotions within you. Message 1. Breaking the wall. Fun message. Amidst countless similar messages during a long, exhausting day, sometimes all it takes is one different line, and her world stops for a moment. You don't need to craft poetry or write the perfect confession. Sometimes a simple, thoughtfully placed sentence is enough to make her heart quietly skip a beat. And in that very instant, a gentle imprint is left behind, standing apart from everything else that has passed by that day. Picture this. She's sitting quietly in the corner of a cafe, absent-mindedly tracing her fingers around a cup of coffee gone cold. Familiar messages light up her screen one after another. Have you eaten yet? What are you doing? I miss you. All blending into the background like the steady patter of rain on a rooftop. And then, cutting through the monotony, your message appears. If there were a competition for getting distracted at work because of thinking about someone, I'd win it today. A short line, but like a sudden beam of sunlight piercing through a gray sky, it catches her off guard, and she smiles, even before she realizes it. That graceful surprise isn't loud, isn't showy. It slips quietly into her mind, like a cool breeze sweeping through a stifling room. It doesn't have to fight for attention, doesn't have to explain itself. It simply leaves behind a feeling she doesn't want to let go. A well-timed fun message doesn't just break through her defenses. It lights up a small, tender corner of her heart. A place that perhaps no one had touched in a long time, at least not with such delicate ease. Imagine her mood like a room with the door barely ajar. Ordinary messages are weak knocks barely heard, but a light-hearted, graceful sentence is like a sudden breeze sneaking in, carrying a new scent, waking up everything inside. That is the power of natural joy. Effortless, unforced, simply casting a warm light on someone's heart without them even realizing how much they needed it. And once you awaken that positive feeling within her, the walls built from cautious habits start to soften. She begins to loosen up, begins to want to hold on to the moments that include you, like someone catching the last golden light of the day through a thin curtain. A man who knows how to make her laugh doesn't need fancy tricks. He doesn't need to force himself to be interesting, because genuine humor flows from a free spirit, from a heart that no longer craves external validation. She will sense that, not with logic, but with a heartbeat that slows ever so slightly, with an eye that softens without warning. And very naturally, she'll start looking forward to your next message. Not because of the words, but because of the feeling you've stirred in her. Deep down, people aren't searching for dazzling promises. They are searching for places where they can breathe easily. A person who can make us laugh without trying is a person we want to stay with, even when nothing is forcing us to. They are searching for places where they can breathe easily. A person who can make us laugh without trying is a person we want to stay with, even when nothing is forcing us to. And a fun, well-timed message carrying just the right energy. That is the perfect beginning to any lasting connection. And a fun, well-timed message carrying just the right energy. That is the perfect beginning to any lasting connection. A well-timed fun message is a whisper, I'm here without trying to impress, and my presence alone warms my world. In a world where everyone is trying to prove themselves, a man who carries a natural smile is already a rare gift. And within that lightness, she finds a peaceful place her heart has always been seeking. Don't chase perfect words. Don't force laughter with clumsy jokes. Just let the joy inside you flow naturally, like the soft sunset spilling across quiet rooftops. Not showing off, yet brightening everything it touches. One sincere message, one effortless smile. Sometimes that's all it takes to break down walls that others could only stand outside of. And the door opens, not because you forced it, but because her heart has quietly, willingly invited you in. Message 2. Sparking her imagination. Some connections are not built by saying a lot. They are born from the spaces we skillfully leave open, just enough for the other person to step into, to find themselves there. Messages are the same. Sometimes, instead of rushing to tell her how much you miss her, it's far better to gently awaken her curiosity. Instead of immediately sending, "I miss you so much," try sending, "I'm somewhere that strangely reminds me of you. Can you guess where?" It's a small change, but the emotional difference it creates is far greater than you might think. Because people, especially women, never just want to be told the answer. They want to be invited into a journey of emotional discovery, step by step, as if they are uncovering the answer themselves. If you bluntly say you miss her, that feeling might pass by like a soft breeze. But if you skillfully leave a door half open, allowing her to step into her own imagination, every step she takes inside that world will be tied to your image. No pressure, no forcing. Only a gentle pull of curiosity, guiding her through small questions that quietly light up her mind. There was once a girl who said, "What made me miss him wasn't the words of love, but the little question marks he left for my imagination every day." Her story sounds simple, but it hides a great truth. When you lead someone into an unfinished story, they will continue writing it with their own longing. Messages that spark imagination are not just about getting a reply. They are about planting unanswered questions in her heart, so that in every quiet pause between the chaos of her days, your image returns like a gentle, persistent wonder. A part of her mind will replay that message, guessing, smiling to herself, and every small journey she makes leads back to you. The strange thing about curiosity is that it naturally pulls energy toward it. A person might forget a confession of love, but they rarely forget the feeling of being stirred, the lingering question left behind, like finishing a great book with a mystery still unsolved. Even after closing it, your mind keeps wandering through its world. A skillful message leaves a gap, not a gap of distance, but a gap of invitation, just enough for her to feel the need to fill it herself with her own attention and imagination. And in the very act of filling it, she takes a step closer to you, voluntarily. An attractive man is not the one who always has all the answers. He is the one who knows how to leave beautiful question marks, fertile spaces for imagination to bloom freely. He doesn't need to tell his whole story. He just needs to open doors wide enough to spark wonder, and her inner world will naturally create the rest. True attraction doesn't come from giving her everything. It comes from giving her the chance to find you hidden in the most unexpected corners of her soul. Every guess, every moment of wondering, every private smile, each binds her closer to your image without her realizing it. Because people don't bond with what's predictable. We bond with what moves our hearts, what keeps us searching, what replays itself in our minds like a sweet, wordless melody. And when you know how to awaken that imagination, you're no longer just someone sending a message. You become someone who quietly, persistently lives inside her thoughts. So don't rush to say everything you feel. Don't slam the door shut with heavy declarations. Leave a crack, a slight blur, a carefully placed ellipsis, just enough to make her want to step through, to explore, and to find you hidden in every little corner of her soul. A message rich in imagination doesn't need many words. It only needs the right spirit, light, inviting, like the moon shimmering behind a thin layer of clouds, not fully revealed, and all the more mesmerizing because of it. When you understand this, you'll no longer worry about how to make her think of you, because she will wander willingly into the world you've quietly built, with nothing more than a simple message, soaked in the subtle elegance of a man who knows how to step back and let another soul move closer. Message 3. Revealing her hidden value, complex compliment message. When was the last time someone truly saw you? Not just the way you look, but the quiet light you carry within. Not everyone has ever been touched by that feeling. In this world, most of the glances that pass over us stop only at the surface. People notice the smile, the hair, the appearance, but it's rare for someone to pause long enough to see the silent presence living inside. And because of that rarity, when someone truly sees the hidden value within you, it's not just a compliment, it's an awakening. It's a silent but powerful recognition that naturally makes you want to become a better version of yourself. A real compliment isn't meant to make her happy, much less to flatter her for a moment. A true compliment, born from deep observation and refined perception, does much more. It reminds her of a beautiful part of herself that may have been blurred by the busy noise of life. I once witnessed a man text the woman he loved with just a simple line, "I love the way you make people around you feel truly heard." Not a compliment about beauty, intelligence, or success. It was an acknowledgement of something deep within her, something she might not have even realized someone could see. And something magical happened. From that day, every time she was around him, she naturally seemed to shine brighter. Not because she was trying to impress, but because she had been reminded of her ability to spread goodness into the world, and she wanted to live more fully with that light. When you touch the precious part she hides away, you don't just leave an impression, you become someone connected to a quiet turning point in her inner journey. People may forget gifts, may forget flowery words, but they will never forget the feeling of being truly seen. Such a compliment must come from deep presence. You have to be still enough to observe, refined enough to sense, and sincere enough to speak without expecting anything in return. It is not a tactic to attract attention. It's part of slowing down, seeing deeper, and choosing to notice what is beautiful in others. When you can do that, your words stop being just sounds. They become a mirror reflecting her light back to her. And the wonder is, when that light is reflected, it shines back, illuminating the path between two people. You might think giving compliments is easy, but to give the right compliment, one that touches the part she values most yet rarely has been recognized, is rare. And because it's rare, it's precious. It's like finding a small, cool spring hidden deep in a dry forest. Anyone who has once tasted that water will forever remember its sweetness. Don't rush to compliment her looks, even though that is a lovely part of her. Look for the small, unconscious things she shows, the way she listens, the gentle way she treats others, the light in her eyes when she talks about what she loves. Such a message is sent not to receive something back, not to demand anything. It's simply to remind her she is already shining, even when she doesn't realize it. And when you become the man who reminds her of her own value, you don't just step into her mind, you step into the softest corner of her heart, where she keeps those who have made her world warmer. It's not about making a fleeting impression. It's about being remembered in her emotional memory, like a gentle song that never fades. A true compliment doesn't need many words. It just needs the right feeling at the right moment. And it will quietly plant vibrations deeper than any declaration of love could ever reach. If you've made it this far, you've probably realized something. A message, if it's merely characters floating across a screen, will dissolve like smoke in the wind. But a message, if sent with real presence, can become a silent note that touches the deepest layers of someone's soul. Every message you send, no matter how brief, quietly drops a small stone into the lake of her heart. Some stones fall and vanish without a sound. Some stir faint ripples that quickly fade. But there are stones that, upon touching the water, light up shimmering circles under the sun. You can choose to message properly, politely, just enough. Or you can choose to send a message where every ripple carries a whisper. I see you. I feel you. That's the difference between an ordinary conversation and an emotional journey. The right message isn't about getting a reply. The right message is kept. It lives in a hidden corner of emotional memory, a place that has no name. But every time she passes by it, a soft smile blooms without her even realizing. Some messages she'll read once and forget. But there are lines of words that, after months, after years, with just one glance, will stir up a feeling so familiar it almost aches. Not because of beautiful wording, but because of the emotion you touched when you sent them. That's why, in a world where everyone is rushing, the one who knows how to light up small moments with sincere presence will always be remembered. You don't need to say much. You don't need to be elaborate. You just need to be real enough. Choose how you bring your light. Choose how you show up. Let every message you send be not just a greeting, but a gentle invitation. If you ever want to, here's a place where you can find a little peace. And one day when she thinks back to the moments when her heart was gently touched without being pushed, when she remembers those seemingly small moments that made her heart unexpectedly warm, she will remember you. Not because of what you promised, not because of what you tried to prove, but because of the light you carried and the way you let it quietly reach her. Choose how you bring your light. Choose how you show up, and she will always remember the one who brought that light into her world.